Oh, here we go. Something went wrong. Oh no, something went wrong. Hold on, let me try this again. Connecting. Going live.
I'm seeing the comment bubble pop up though, so maybe people are in here just watching us try to connect.
No, I don't think that's the case because I asked a question in the chat. Oh no, what is going on? Technical difficulties. We're
We're live.
live. I almost had a panic attack, everyone in the chat, because we tried to go live twice and it was like taking a really long time. Hey everyone, can you see us?
It was awkward.
If you can
I
see
think
us,
so.
say hi in the chat. I know a lot of people are already saying hi and where they're from, but if you can see us, give us a verbal or like a text, like, yeah, we can see you.
Nancy, can you see me? Nancy.
Nancy Murphy, our loyal social club member. Yes. Thanks, Nancy. So good.
Thank you, Nancy, Kelly, Andy, Shannon.
Love it.
Thank you. Okay, we're live.
Back. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, everybody. So good to see you today. Not see you. I can't see any of you, but you can see us. So that's kind of fun. Thanks, Tyler. Thanks, everyone, for helping us figure this out. We're really excited. Today, we're having a fun conversation with the social team at the Chicago White Sox. Woo, 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 woo. We're going to dig into some behind the scenes content, how they make stuff. It's going to be such a good conversation. I'm really excited for it. But if you're here in the chat, I know, Carmen, thanks for the compliment about my curls. Very nice. But if you're here in the chat, I know.
Mine, Carmen.
Eric has hot hair. He just doesn't want to show anybody.
I desperate need of a haircut.
I've learned to cut hair recently. Fun fact.
Really?
I'm pretty good at it. Yeah.
That could save me a lot of money. I'll just fly to Toronto every time.
Sounds good. Love it. I'll charge you a couple $100. But if you're here in the chat, tell us where you're coming from, what company you're coming from, what you do at your company, and share your LinkedIn if you want. I think it's fun to connect with people offline as well. A lot of you are either coming from our social club community. A lot of you are coming from LinkedIn. So wherever you're coming from, we're excited you're here today, and we're going to dig in very shortly. But Eric has a little message first.
Yeah, so as we do with these content power hours, I want to make sure everyone has context on what Slate is before we actually talk to the White Sox about how they run social and how they incorporate Slate into their social workflows to help save time and increase their content output. So I'm going to share my screen. We'll just give a high level of what Slate is. I'll rip through a few different things, and then we will get to our wonderful, wonderful guests. So here we are. Piro, can I get a verbal that you're seeing my screen?
Just shared it so that everybody can see it.
Okay, awesome. Cool. So what is Slate? We are the creative home for social media teams. And for us, that means the place where social teams create their content. It's where they collaborate on content. And it's where they find new pieces of media and content to edit. And so we want to be the single place that they go to produce all of the amazing, high-performing, on-brand, native, authentic posts for any social platform, and increasingly more like digital platforms as well. Excuse me. So we all at Slate used to run social media at brands. It's part of our DNA. It's part of who we are and why we started the product. And we face these very pressures ourselves, right? We know the volume and the demand of content is way often more than your team of 1, 2, maybe 3, if you're lucky, can supply, which is why you need tools to help you create quickly, but still create in a way that is consistent, right? And that's where the brand piece comes in, right? Brand is such a massive part of social media. How do you juggle looking native, feeling authentic to every platform, but also having a brand through line? The editor that you use needs to facilitate that. And of course, video, it wins on every platform, but we all know it costs the most just time, money, and headaches to create. Making video easy for social teams is part of our mission. And ultimately, like, we feel strongly, again, from our own workflow, our own experience, that you shouldn't need 4 different creative apps to make one post, let alone the different tools or workflows you're using to find the media that you're editing your content with, and then the feedback that you're getting from your team. And that's why we're kind of bringing this all-in-one brand and collaboration built into a quick and easy creation tool that covers every format. It's easy to use for anyone, whether you're an expert video editor or, a CapCut user. And it's also something that everybody on the team can work within as one source of truth. So who is Slate for, right? We've had a conversation about this, I think, on the last few Content Power Hours, but we really are built for teams. So we work with brands, we work with sports, media, and entertainment orgs, we work with agencies. We are opening up like an individual sort of small business version of Slate later this year that you'll be able to, pay monthly with a credit card. Right now, we're more positioned sort of mid-market and above, but we want to talk to you. Like if you're like, hey, I'm a team of one, at a small business, I want an alternative to tools like CapCut. We are going to be rolling out that offering, that individual tier later this year, and we're starting to collect emails for the beta of that. So hit us up even if you don't fit in one of these three categories. So that's my kind of overview. I will show some stuff later, a new AI video editing tool that we're releasing that has never before been seen by the public. So if you stay on for the end, we'll get a view of that. But yeah, let's get the guests on so I can stop talking.
Also, I just popped in like a little demo button if you're curious about it and if you want to chat with us later.
Yes.
So feel free to click that, but we'll have a little more structured way to get in touch with us later. All right, so we have the Chicago White Sox team here. We're very excited to bring them on. We have Jordan Doyle and JC Andrews, who are the director of content and senior coordinator of digital content. You can see them in the little like corners capturing content on the field, very ready, with their phones in hand, ready to make content that everyone is seeing. So let's welcome Jordan and JC. Hi guys, how are you?
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, so good to have you here. So before we get into any questions, start this webinar off. Give us a little introduction about what you do, what your role entails. Walk us through it. We'll start with Jordan.
So I'm Jordan. I'm the director of content and social media for the White Sox. This is my 12th season. I started out as an intern in 2015 and have been here ever since. So when I first started, the team was one social person and someone who did email, and then our director, and now we have grown, thank God for me. So happy to be here.
Wow, one person. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine what that was like. Wild. JC.
Yeah, my name is JC Andrews. I'm the senior coordinator of content and social media at the White Sox. I am in my 6th season thus far, so lived a lot through these 6 seasons. I'm not gonna lie, but it's been fun, and it's been fun seeing the content grow on our channels as well.
Yeah, we love it. We're excited to show everyone on this chat some screen shares a little bit later of what's going on your social feeds. But I want to start us off with a really intense question, hard-hitting question. So y'all have 162 games a year, meaning endless amounts of content, which is crazy. Me coming from a B2B social background, and a lot of people here may be coming from CPG or like other types of social, like 162 games is like almost half the year, which is wild. And I just want you all to paint a picture for us of like what it looks like to actually start the day. Because I know, Jordan, when we chatted earlier this week, you mentioned that sometimes you're not starting the day when the game starts. You're actually in office, 9:30 regular hours, and then you're going all the way till however late at night. So paint us a picture from morning till night, what it looks like to create content for the Chicago White Sox and a little bit of your processes behind there.
Yeah, as I'm sure everyone who works in social media knows, there's a lot of planning that goes behind what we're publishing. So I think people that aren't in it don't understand like the work that goes on behind the scenes, and it's not just like hitting send in the moment. So like our days are filled with meetings, getting prepped for milestones, events that are happening, sponsored content that we're planning. So our days can start pretty early, and then once the starting lineup comes through and our coordinator Tori creates the lineup graphic, we're kind of moving on to that game, reading game notes, prepping stats that come through. JC oversees all of like our homestand content. So if we have a first pitch that comes out, she's planning and prepping the publisher for what needs to go out that night, and then obviously anything game action that comes through. So there's a lot that goes on behind it, and a lot of hours and bandwidth that we put into it.
Yeah, that's wild. I think the first question off the top of my head is like, you're a social team, and obviously you got into this industry to be creative. Like that was part of it. And with sports, there's a lot of like administrative stuff you have to do. You just have to publish game stats or fulfill sponsorship obligations. So where does the creativity piece come in? Like, I'm sure a lot of people are like, where do you actually get the chance to make content that you love to create? And how does that actually fit into the whole 162 game schedule?
Yeah, we have weekly brainstorms that we kind of go through things that are coming and any ideas that our team has. We're really lucky to have some really creative people on our staff. And then we also look at what other teams are doing. We have a Slack channel where we send content ideas through, and people send through what they see, what they like, and maybe if there's anything that we can take from what other teams or brands are doing.
Yeah, I would also say we get creative with how we're pushing out the content as well. So like, is it a carousel or a reel, or is it a mixed media on Twitter? Like, how can we get creative within the feed itself with what the different apps allow us to do? And so I think that's another caveat to making sure that we're staying nimble with what the platforms are allowing us to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think in sports there's the creative opportunities, but also limitations based off of the schedule that you're working within, and like Piero said, some of the confines of things that you have to post. But there's also the performance on the field, right? Like, which is such a massive part of running social media in sports. It's such a different world if the team is performing well versus not, and the fans are so passionate that it really changes like what your day-to-day is like around what sort of content you can post and what reactions you're getting. Caitlin actually just made this comment in the chat. I think for people that don't know, the Sox social got kind of famous for having a lot of fun with how bad the team was, right? And it was something that hadn't really been done before. Just having the ability to lean into that in a way that I think was cathartic for like a lot of your audience, but also really surprising for other people that worked in sports and just social in general, of like, oh, like, how did you get PR to like actually allow this? So yeah, maybe starting with you, Jordan, can you talk a little bit about like that time and what that was like, and then the reaction that you got to it and what you've like learned from that?
Yeah, we had a lot of conversations, a lot of meetings, and we planned everything out for each scenario. If we were to lose the next 2 games, but then won the next one, we had a plan in place, copy decided, everything all planned out for every scenario. So we got buy-in pretty early on, and our SVP was great at being open to what we were saying. We went through everything. There were some things that we tossed out, and some things that we were luckily able to move forward with. So it was a tough time, as everyone can imagine, like the comments that we were getting all season long. But this did help, I think, a little bit with like our mental health, being able to be a little creative and show the fans that we're in this with you guys. We're not just ignoring of what is going on. And how can we try and make light of the situation that we were in? So, yeah.
I can't even imagine that conversation of being like, so I have this idea for like making fun of our team. What do you think?
Yeah. So we put our team photographer in a car, and he was shooting photos going off the highway to make the meme of post the final score or literally anything else. So yeah, it was fun, and our team got super creative. Our designers got super creative with like the slam laptop shut meme that he created. So it was fun.
Yeah,
it was nice to have buy-in from leadership, because I know not every place would feel comfortable with what we did, but it paid off for us, and I think it made it a little bit better.
I think it's important as a social team to like also have self-awareness of what's going on. I also know that when we chatted earlier this week, we chatted about like memes and trends and like how strict the MLB is about like doing that kind of stuff. So walk us through like what it actually looks like with legal teams and sponsorships and all that kind of stuff. Because I know you said you actually like went out of your way to make your own meme and trend. So like, how does that work when something creative comes up and you actually want to start, you know, thinking through like how to make it your own? What do those conversations look like?
Yeah, so as an org, like our legal team says that any memes that are created like have to be created in-house. So we have to kind of figure out a way to make them our own, just like with copyright, along with like copyrighted music as well. So I'm gonna put Lucy on the spot, but a couple years ago she sang for us the Corn song because we couldn't use the audio. So she's been the singing audio once or twice for us. But yeah, we have to make it our own. But it does allow us to get a little bit more creative. So
It's Corn Kid.
Yep.
I guess that is copyright.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's so funny.
It was trending right after, or like the year after the Field of Dreams game. So we had all of this Corn content that like was just waiting to be published. And it was one of those pieces where it's like, I just like felt it in my bones that like this needed to see the light of day. And I was going to do whatever means necessary for it to appear. And it worked out. So
another good quality of a social team, just like being willing to do whatever it takes to make content. Yeah. Okay, so let's chat a little bit about, before we get into like you before Slate, because I know there was a lot of like processes in place. Before we get into that, I want to talk about like your 3 goals this year, your content goals. As a sports team. So fan engagement is a big one, and just like how to engage fans more on social, expanding your audiences, maybe for those casual watchers or people that aren't fans of the Chicago Sox yet. And then just like content differentiation, like how are you looking different on the feed? So what does that mean for your team this year when it comes to creating content and like hitting those 3 goals alongside all of the obligations you have to fulfill? Sponsorships, stats, in-game stats, highlights, whatever. I'm just like, once again, as a person that works in B2B tech, so different. Like I'm already overwhelmed at thinking about all of these things. And you have a team of 3 right now working on social. So like, walk us through what that looks like.
Yeah, I think a lot of it goes into planning and just being creative and thinking of new ideas and ways to grow fans. So like, for example, we just had the cast from Summer House out. So it was a way to grow a new audience. We did a lot of collabs with both Bravo and the cast from Summer House. So not only timely with what's going on in their season, but also a way to kind of tap into the pop culture audience. We had the Windy City series author out, Liz Tom40. So we're able to kind of tap into like the female fan audience and create content that helped grow our female fan base a little bit. And then for fan engagement, obviously, as everyone knows, if you have 1 million fans, but none of them are tuned in to what you're doing or they're not engaged, then it really doesn't matter. It's kind of a fake view. So we always want people to stay onto our pages, stay longer onto our content. How do we get deeper views and how do we get the fans to engage with what we're putting out? So we really think about fan engagement more than like growing the fan base. The engagement is a big piece for us. Yeah, and I'll let JC talk a little bit more about content differentiation and kind of what goes into that.
Yeah, so like I kind of alluded to earlier, we can kind of get creative with how we're posting out the content as well, which I think helps with us staying nimble, like mentally, when trying to be the creative space and avoiding burnout when there is 162 games. So it's kind of like the caveat of making sure that we're up to date on what the platforms are pushing, as well as Instagram pushing carousels. Like we just started tapping into like the new style carousels over the past like couple of seasons and have really seen success with the way that Instagram is pushing that. And like Jordan said, it's keeping our fans on our content when they're swiping through the slides, and hopefully potentially leaving a comment for us to interact with, like from our page. And then as well as the mixed media that we're seeing on Twitter as well. Yes, perfect example of the news carousel. It's also a way for us to kind of get out more information if we really need to. Like sometimes social media, you want to have that hook. So this first slide in the news carousel really does that. And then hopefully they're swiping around and reading more about what we are posting about. Yeah.
Sorry, I clicked that when I didn't know it would do that. I was like, what does this button do?
Like Eric.
But this is relevant to exactly what you're talking about. I feel like we need to go to this question early, even though it's not Q&A.
Yeah, the Pope being a Sox fan has been huge for us, and something that we've been able to go back to throughout this past year. As more things come up, he's gifted a Sox hat, or he has little sound bites going through the parade, or I'm not sure what the correct term for that is, but it's been huge for us, and it's been fun to see our team being able to like take advantage of what his fandom means to us. It means to our fans. So it's been great.
What a celeb snipe. Like that's pretty cool that that's awesome.
Cool. Okay, so super helpful context on kind of all things. I know Piero mentioned that the team, it's small, especially for the amount of games and content that you have to produce. Want to talk a little bit about where Slate fits in, how it's been helping, and to start, like what was life like before Slate for your content team, and what were some workflows that you look back on and are thinking like, wow, that was a lot more difficult? How did you manage it then, and how do you manage it now? I'll start with you, Jordan.
So for games, before we had Slate, we had 3 people staffed for each game on the social side. So one person is publisher, they're publishing on all platforms, copywriting, everything to push things out. Creator is doing everything, cutting highlights, creating our graphics, flagging if there's any sponsored things that we needed to be executing. And then our third role was utility, because sometimes the creator was inundated with editing photos, and then 2 stats would come through, and then we hit a home run over 425 feet, so we had to activate our crushed series. So the utility role could step in and help with Photoshop files. They could help request things from MLB. They could help write our YouTube description. So just anything that we needed help with. So with Slate, we've been able to streamline a little bit more. We have all of our sponsored content as templates or overlays. This series that we have, Crushed, we have to activate at any time one of our players hits a home run over 425 feet. Before, we used to have to get help from our internal video team to add the bugs, to add the information, and now we could do it so they can kind of focus on other stuff that they have. And then there were some national campaigns that we had to do for MLB that we would have to send an email over and ask for them to create it, and sometimes it would take like 45 minutes, and as everyone knows in the sports world, the moment could be over by then. So now we're able to create that on Slate in-house and get it out within just a few minutes, which has been kind of a game changer for us.
Yeah. Even like sponsored content, I know like the obligations there are like, they're so particular about how things are getting posted and where they're getting posted. So that's, especially during a game, like you were saying, things need to be fast. So the fact that you can like do that all in one platform is pretty cool. I also want to like touch on your workflow before Slate, because I know you mentioned to me the Photoshop process was like really exhausting, and pulling that up and like your computers would lag and all this crazy stuff. Like tell me what it was like before you actually had Slate as a tool to like execute content.
So for game related, I think JC's computer was sounding like a rocket ship about to take off. About 20 Photoshop files open for like any scenario. So being able to just like cut that out and being able to just easily flip over on Slate has been huge, because we just have so many files. We'd have to find like where they are on our server. If someone was helping out, we'd have to tell them where it lived, and what would go into it. So this just makes our lives so much easier. Especially we have 60 sponsored series for the year that we have to activate on, and a good majority of those are game kind of trigger moments, like the home runs, first career strikeout. We have to do our Miller time milestones. Our starting lineup is sponsored, so there's a lot that just we have to be ready for. And so now that JC oversees getting everything into our brand hub, it's easily labeled. We know where everything is, and she's kind of worked through with our designers how to get everything properly set up so that other people can help during games. We have someone in our corporate partnerships department who funnels in like once a week for the creator role, meaning like that is easy for her to just pick up on, where like the Photoshop files JC was working out of a couple years ago. Sometimes I'd be like, JC, I can't do this. Sorry, you're going to have to help me out because you're better at design. So it's been helpful for people that aren't as skilled.
Yeah.
And on that note too, like in Slate too, you can ensure that something, if it doesn't need to be like edited, it's not being edited. You can make sure that it's like rasterized or it's a smart object when you're uploading it. So the only things that need to be updated are the information, and you're not having to worry about a background moving because you accidentally clicked it, or things are being lost or information's being hidden. So it's a lot easier and simpler process when the slates are like being utilized within the Slate platform.
Yeah.
And then before we go into this season, all of our templates that are put up on Slate for sponsors have been approved by each sponsor. So we don't have to wait around for like client approval. Everything is pre-approved, that we're just dropping in either a highlight or a photo and like changing what the stat is. So that's super helpful.
I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, also as social media people, sometimes you're expected to know all the tools and how they work to the T. Like, you need to just be an expert in all these tools. And the reality is it's like really impossible to be an expert in all the tools. So like having just like a place where you can just like execute content and not worry about, oh, is this like, does this look good, or is this centered enough or whatever, and just like have a graphic designer overlook everything and just like have that loaded into the platform is pretty cool. So there's a question here that I think is relevant to the conversation. I'm going to add it. What other internal creatives do you work with? Contracted media designers, filmers, photographers? How does the process of asset to post work? And like, are you working with your contractors or anything in the platform in Slate? And do you like, and who are you bringing on as well?
Yeah, so we have internal video team and an internal design team. Our video team is about 4 people and our design team is 5 people. But our designers do a lot, so they don't work games with us. That's why they've set us up with anything that we need to do. And then our Sox TV crew, they're out in the camera well shooting game action. So if like we have a home run, we'll get that from them. So yeah, JC has worked with our design team to like kind of what we call make it slateable. So anything that we put in as a
on our website.
like they're now pros at knowing, hey, if this is for Slate, every line needs to be its own box, or we need to rasterize these so that we can set them as layers. So we've kind of, JC has trained them to know what to do when it needs to go on Slate. So it's been helpful.
That's so fun. Make it slateable.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I think it's time to show us a little bit of the behind the scenes of your content and like how you actually put things together. So I know JC's going to be doing that. I want you to like walk us through your brand hub and share your screen and kind of give us like a little sneak peek of your templates. Cause I know templates is something that you're a huge fan of. So I'd love to see that brand hub.
Yeah, absolutely. What button do I hit?
Good point. Is there, on the bottom, there's like a mute, camera off, and then there's a present button. That's the button you'll be clicking.
Present.
And then you might have the option to share screen and then click which tab.
Great.
Perfect. I know sometimes like a new platform, you're like, what do I do?
I know. Let's do.
The worst is when you're on Zoom and you have to like restart your computer just
Yeah.
to like.
We're also like a Teams org, so like Google is like a completely different.
Yes.
Different realm. Let's see. It's making me put in my password.
Okay, great. Love that. I mean, as long as it's like, I think that's a good thing because then it's like you're not accidentally sharing.
Tab.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so kind of one of the turnkey things that we're publishing before every game is, wait, can y'all see this before I fully type in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. So starting lineup, we make this in a 4x5 and a 9x16. So this is essentially what it looks like when you open it up. And so what we've done is each thing for opponents is a layer swap this season. So we can go in and make sure that if we need to easily change it with who our opponent is, we're easily able to do so. We also have color schemes this year as well. So these layers are also interchangeable with our layer swaps. So it's making sure everything is like very easy. And so sometimes when Tori, our other coordinator, is making these, she only gets maybe 5 minutes to create these. So if we can streamline this as much as possible, we are able to do so. So the time is very easily changeable. You can go in and you can like easily click in here and change the name. And the way that we have this set up as well for easily editable things is also, this is a previous lineup, so it's not like you're getting insider information for today. Sorry. We make sure that the longest name is what is being templated when you're opening it up. So if I go over here and I look at our other starting lineups for City Connect, for example, it's all Munetaka Murakami because he is the longest name on our team. And then we also make sure that outside of the starting pitcher, because this position does not change, it is a DH. So that way we're not worrying about, I'm making sure when I'm uploading it, we are able to adjust the text box. It's very easily done here with just typing it in and then moving on to the next one as well. So yeah.
I like not having the fear of accidentally moving something and being like, oh my gosh, what did I do?
Yes, exactly. And then we also have a change in broadcast. So sometimes these are changeable as well if we need to change to a national broadcast or something like that. And then for this City Connect example, we have all of our opponents just right here and easily ready to switch on. So we're not worrying about finding the right one and dropping it in or anything like that. And it's nice too because the photo is very easily changeable into the background as well. So I can literally just drag and drop and resize into this and call it a day.
We have a question here from Christina with a K. She says, curious what the sub colors are when your core brand colors are black and white. Can we see a little glimpse into like the actual hub where all the things are loaded in so that nothing gets misused?
Absolutely. Let me go to my Brown Home. I did have multiple tabs open, but my Google didn't allow me to do all of that. So here's our brand hub. So essentially, one of the things, another way that we get creative is with our theme nights at the ballpark. So we had an emo night, for example. Let me turn this on. And so essentially what I like to do is we create frames and stickers for each theme night, essentially. And so I'm able to upload them whenever I get them and then toggle them off until they're necessary to be used. And I'm creating a draft right now, so that's why it's loading. a little bit too. So once this is done, I'll show one, our City Connect branding, and then two, the colors and how we're incorporating those. So our design team each year comes up with a look and feel of what it's going to look at like that season. So this is an example. We had an emo night on May 14th. We get stickers and we get frames set up, even backgrounds for when we're resharing from feed to stories, to making sure that the branding for that theme night is cohesive across social media platforms. So this is one example, and we like to do these for like our major theme nights. We have reggaeton night coming up on Friday. We had AAPI night and like Bravo night as well. So these are a little hidden because it's hidden up here, not visible for our creators to then utilize the assets. And that's one of the beautiful things about Slate as well. One, my organization is to a T, and Slate really itches that feel of mine, making sure that everything is where they're supposed to be. And so that way I can easily toggle stuff on and off. So this is a look into our regular season assets. So like it was mentioned and asked, we have blue, red, and yellow. So our design team comes up with the look and feel each season, and then they kind of figure out how we want to utilize that throughout. So once they kind of present that, I'm then going through and seeing how I want different frames and different assets to look. So we have 117 assets in this category alone.
Wow.
From stickers to frames. And then we have templates as well, but they're in their own category for like our crushed and starting lineups, to making sure that it's not getting overwhelming in the category as well. But we have all of these backgrounds too. So the red, yellow, and blue kind of come from our pinwheels, as well as just another accent of color. Because we are black and white, sometimes it can get a little monotonous, and there isn't a whole lot of change that can happen with that. So our design team is always creatively challenged each season to figure out how we can make each one look new and fresh. And so this year we're kind of on a 35-degree line as we're keeping momentum moving forward. Marketing plug. And utilizing the like gradients and the colors as well, just to making sure things are popping on the feed.
Yeah, this looks so organized. I'm impressed. I also love the idea of themes, because it's not just applicable to sports social. Obviously, like anyone watching from any social team right now can be like, okay, like how can we start thinking of our social in themes, and like how can we start activating with our design team and like themes and organizing that. And I also like the fact that you can obviously toggle things off, so that once the theme is done, nobody's touching it, no one's publishing anything outdated. So yeah, this looks so good. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Of course.
I think because we're almost running out of time, I think there's a lot of questions here that we can start tackling. So I'm going to remove this from the stream and start going to some questions, because I think people are curious about community and how your team is operating. So let's start with like social team's impact on revenue. Let's add this to the stream. How are you measuring the social team's impact on revenue and ticket sales?
Yeah, so from the corporate partnership side, obviously we sell a lot of our series and templates, so we know that the revenue coming in from that. And then we use tools, well, our corporate partnership team uses tools to kind of gauge the earned media value on our posts and kind of what goes into that. So yeah, a lot of what we're doing is being generated for revenue, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool that you can also prove the value of it too. Okay, so here's a more technical question that we're going to add to the stream. Also, do the teams have a shared space of vector logos for use across the MLB?
I think so. I'm not sure.
I know like MLB has their own design assets to which are shared with each club. So for example, like Players Weekend or All-Star, like those logos are being shared on a club by club basis. And then we're working with our internal design team to slateify those into stickers for us to then utilize on templates or Instagram stories and stickers and frames.
Yeah, because I can imagine there's like those kinds of assets that you need to activate on, especially. Yeah. Okay. This is a more technical question as well. Curious as to how your social calendars work between you guys. Obviously, they're huge for anyone, but in my previous experience, each social had their own calendar and it was like a writer's room during games.
Yes. So we have Asana, and we basically have different projects like our in-game schedule, our sponsored content calendar, that is all then funneled into one main content calendar. So everything is streamlined and funnels into one place. So there is no confusion about where it needs to go, who's assigned it, what platforms is it going on, who's creating content. Everything is, we've kind of gotten it to be a well-oiled machine, and it funnels right in there and everyone knows what needs to be done.
And this is also how I track my Slate projects as well. So when I'm submitting design requests to our designers, I'm tracking this as well and making sure that everything that I need to upload to Slate is being done so for people across the department to utilize.
Cool. Eric will showcase like a little sneak peek of what's coming to Slate as well with collaborating in the platform. So excited to show you that. Here's a community question, because I imagine with your small team, not only you're creating content, but there's also the community side of things. So I'm going to add this to the stream here. On the community side, how do you balance authentic baseball content with new social trends? And how do you make real baseball fans happy while diving into trend that may not be authentic to the sport?
Yeah, that's a great question, because over my 12 years, there have been a couple of times that like we try and hop on a trend that fans are like, whoa, like you guys shouldn't do this. So it kind of going back to like making things our own and making memes our own, like making sure that it fits our brand, having conversations of like how it's being output and exported and published down to like what the copy is. So we have a social media playbook, and in there we have a slide all about brand voice and what we are and what we aren't. So we're all on the same page of like what would make sense as the Chicago White Sox to be publishing.
That's awesome. I love community questions, mostly because I do community as well. So it's like, it's cool to see how other social teams do that. Along the same lines of community, what does your community engagement process look like? Are you strictly responding to comments, or is your team actively commenting on non-Sox posts as well?
Yeah, this is a great question. It's something that's been kind of one of our goals for the past couple years. So Tori, our coordinator, is assigned engagements unless she has off and she's assigning it to someone else. But that is all of that. Engaging with comments that are to our own post, engaging with people in the baseball world that are about the White Sox, or kind of inserting ourselves in conversations that maybe fit us but aren't like about us. So like a fan talking about what they're wearing to a game, like trying to hop in the conversation. So Tori does a great job at keeping her eyes open and engaging where she can.
Yeah. I know some people are like, it's annoying when a brand gets in the comments, but if it's super relevant to you and it makes sense, it's always like a fan moment of like, oh my gosh, they're in my comment section. Before we get to the last two questions and then Eric's reveal of some sneak peeks to come, I'm just going to put a poll up on the screen. As you've heard, there's been a lot of Slate talk. Slateify is going to be our new term. I want to put this poll on the stream here for anyone that is curious about Slate, that actually wants to see Slate in action for your brand. Please vote on the poll. If you're interested and you want to learn more, we'd love to like show you what it could look like for your brand and your team, because Slate doesn't just extend to sports social teams, but it also works for many B2B people, many CPG as well. Like there's so many social teams that are using Slate for different use cases. We had a content power hour 2 months ago with Sierra Nevada Brewing, who's a They are a brewery, so they work with that Slate under the umbrella of Sierra Nevada, but they have 8 brands that they manage under one platform. So if you want to see Slate in action, feel free to vote in the poll. We'd love to talk to you about it, kind of get your brand in the hub, showcase like our shortcuts, our clipping tool, the brand hub, and obviously some new features coming up that you are all getting a sneak peek of today. So I will leave that up for like a couple more seconds, and then maybe we can go into our final question answer that I think is a really good question for specifically Jordan, who's been here for like 11 years. Did you say, Jordan?
12 seasons.
12 seasons. 12 seasons. Got that wrong. But 12 seasons is still a very long time. So thinking back to when your team was smaller, and now you have a larger team, what positive changes have you seen? How has your content grown? And how can you convince leadership that having more people is more beneficial?
Yeah, I think the most tangible thing is we've won a couple Shorty Awards. So we've been able to kind of show that the work that we're doing is paying off. So we've been able to do more, be a little bit more creative. But then on the flip side, we've been able to give people the mental break that they need. So we're able to rotate people in and out of games so that they're not working every night and they can kind of try and take a little mental break. Even if they can't, we try our hardest. But 162 games is a lot. And even if you're not working 162 games, working in social media is a lot. You're always feeling like you have to be on. You are always feeling like imposter syndrome. You see what other brands are doing and you are like, I just don't have the time. So it's been helpful to have obviously more people to give people the time off that they need. And then the work is better because they're getting a little break.
I think you're on mute, Christina.
I said, and you get more creativity on the team. I love that like mute is still an issue in 2026. We have AI, we have all these crazy tools, and I'm like, everyone's like, you're still on mute, actually. My final question for you both, in a sentence, can you just like, to anyone that's aspiring to be a social media coordinator, work on a social team, maybe work in sports, what's like one piece of it? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but what's one piece of advice you'd give to everyone in this chat who's like, social is crazy and I don't know how to manage it and I want to get into it, but I'm nervous. Just like one sentence from both of y'all.
Oh gosh, I don't know that I can keep it to a sentence.
You can go more sentences.
But one thing that I always say to JC, like especially when we're in the thick of it, is like we are publishing for a sport, for a team that yes, we are a professional sports team, but like kids also play this game. We're not surgeons, we're not saving lives. So like at the end of the day, like it's okay if we can't get a post out, if something happens, like it's okay to make mistakes and try new things. Social is hard because you're on the public, everyone can see your work. So you get picked and it's kind of just like, working through the mental block of all of that. But it's so rewarding. The things that we're able to do, our CR team brings out, families impacted by cancer, and being able to like highlight that on social media and kind of do some things that are making people's day is so rewarding for like the kind of the hours and grind and mental things that we go through working in social. So I don't know that I just answered that, but
no, that was perfect. Great.
I would say like start small. And I mean that in a way where it's like making sure that like each small step will slowly lead you into something bigger. So don't be afraid to take like the small steps or even the side steps to kind of get where you want to go. I had a completely different route into sports as well. So there isn't one true way to kind of land like your dream role within like the sports industry. It's a work, it's a grind, like Jordan alluded to, but there's small steps that you take along the way that are turn into like big life events. And so you look back in like 5 or 6 years later down the road and realize where you are and what you've achieved. And so staying in the moment, I think, is hard within the social space as well. But making sure that you're celebrating your small wins is important.
Yeah. And reflecting on them too, because it's easy
Yes.
to move past a win really quickly. So, yeah. Thank you both for coming to our Content Power Hour. I'm sure a lot of people honestly love the behind the scenes of like learning more about how your team operate. I really am so thankful for you both. Thank you for inventing a new verb for us, Slateify it. We'll be taking that with us as a marketing team. And yeah, just thank you. And I'm sure if anybody wants to follow along with your stuff, obviously the Instagram is a great place to go, but also they can connect with you on LinkedIn, I'm sure, and DM you any questions they have after this chat. So feel free to connect with Jordan or JC on LinkedIn. We're going to say bye to y'all. Thank you so much. And then we're going to let Eric take it away from here. Thanks, Jordan and
Thank
JC.
you. Thank you.
Thanks. I actually have a photo of Jordan. I think this is either Jordan or JC at their desk. Yeah. This is what an average day for them looks like. You are seeing my screen, right, Piro?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes. Yeah. So I think this is actually JC during the last White Sox game. But we've all been there as like a social team, and this is going to lead into like what we're about to release in Slate that we haven't shown publicly yet. So stay on if you want to hear about this. We've all been there where it's like, I want to create a piece of content, but I have so much footage to sift through. There's a perfect, clip from a press conference, in the off season that I know would, match this moment, but I don't have the time to go like searching through my archives to find it. So what we're about to release in Slate is basically our AI media hub, right? So all the media either that you're uploading directly to Slate or that's connected to, other sources, whether it be Google Drive, SharePoint, other dams that you're using, is going to be searchable within Slate using basically contextual search. So in this case, I'm searching a quote from a George Kittle press conference. It's going to search the transcripts that have been automatically transcribed across all my videos for that exact moment that then I now can pull into Slate and start editing with. Similarly, in this instance, I'm now searching for like Brock Purdy's dance that, Kittle was talking about in that moment. And the AI is going to search what looks like Brock Purdy dancing, right? So not only am I combining the sort of media asset side of things, I could bring that straight into the editor and just use AI to find the clips that I need when I need it. This isn't AI like auto-generating slop. It's AI helping you discover the piece of media you want when you want it. And it's all media that you own and that is in your library. So the other piece that we're about to release, and I know Jordan, JC, you talked about like using Asana on the front end. We know a lot of teams that use other tools on the back end to get approvals, get feedback, get reviews for their content, right? They'll drop things in Google Docs and have comments or export into Frame.io. We're releasing a full collaboration suite within Slate, right? So the ability to set approval statuses on videos, to comment in line or in timeline directly on a project, to tag a teammate, basically Frame.io for social teams, right? Having it in the same place that you're actually like editing your content will be in the place that you can get your feedback, approvals, and reviews from everybody else on your team. So we're excited this is releasing potentially by the end of this week to some customers. So this is very soon. And then the big one that I wanted to share, which we're hoping to get live this summer, is our AI video editing assistant. So this is something that you're going to be able, in this case, I have a 18-minute press conference and I'm saying, cut this into 90 seconds, make sure you get one quote from each player. And all of a sudden, the AI is basically going to take this raw media into a first draft for you. And you're seeing this is happening like right there in the timeline that you already use. So it's not, again, AI generating slop from whatever it wants to. It's basically your video editing assistant to go from that raw media to first draft quickly. So in this case, I took an 18-minute presser. Now I have a 90-second sort of compilation of that. I could go through, I could, see if this fits what I want. I could prompt more changes, or I could just manually edit more changes right there in the timeline. The other thing this is going to be able to do is like drag in just a bunch of raw clips. Maybe it's like 10 different mini mic interviews you got, and say, all right, I want to edit this mini mic into a 90-second TikTok. It'll do that first draft for you. So there's a lot of different possibilities that this is going to open up, again, from going from like raw video to first draft. And we think this is just really going to speed up the video editing process for social teams. And again, it's something we've never before like shared. This is still an internal testing that I'm sharing with you. So it's likely not going to be live until July, but something I wanted to preview on this call.
Ooh, cool. I love that.
That's all I have.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, now that you've seen this peek for all of you left on this chat, I'm going to pop up the CTA again. And I mean, Eric did put it in the chat as well, but all this stuff is coming very soon. The collaborations, like Eric said, is like this week, which I'm very excited about. I don't have to send like a million videos on Slack anymore. I could just like ask someone in platform. So yeah, if you want to learn more, book a call with us. We can show you how it works for your team. Thanks for tuning in with us.
Wait. Oh. I got to bring JC back on the screen here. Sorry, JC. Can we get the corn song? Can we get the corn song to play us out?
Okay. Sorry. It's corn, a big lump of knobs. It has the juice. I'm sorry. Out from my depths. I'm not warm, so please take that with a grain of salt.
That was incredible.
I'm snipping this. This is so. I did not expect that. Eric, did you talk about this with JC beforehand, or did she just?
No, I just threw her on the spot, and she was game for it, which I love.
JC.
It lives in our TikTok, the video somewhere in the depths of 2022. So if anyone has time on their hands and would like to scroll back and listen to a more polished version of me, please feel free to do so.
That's incredible. Oh what a way to end the call.
Thank you, JC. Thanks everybody for joining. JC, have fun at your honeymoon.
Thank you. Yes.
This weekend.
Yeah.
And thanks everybody for joining. Hit us up if you want to chat more about Slate. And I don't know, Piro, what else is left to say?
That's it. You're going to get this recording in your inbox tomorrow if you missed it, to share around. And thank you for tuning into our Content Power Hour. We have a fun June 10th webinar with the team at LinkedIn. So if you do want to join that, you're going to get an email, but it's also going to be posted on our LinkedIn Slate page. I wish I had it queued up here, but we're June 10th, a conversation with LinkedIn about lots of fun things, sports, how to personal branding, all that kind of stuff. So we'd love to see you there June 10th, 12 p.m. ET. Have a good day, everybody. And we will see you next time.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.